It's always a case of rinse and repeat in this bathroom. Nothing ever changes because the Greenville Group don't want it to change. It is right around 1:50 p.m. on Tuesday, May 27th, 2025. 10 minutes ago, I quietly tried to use the facilities in this bathroom, very quietly with the lights off and the door closed. And somebody who has been intermittently accessing the vacant, unrented bathroom of Unit 78 located behind this wall on an ongoing basis for weeks, months, and years now, once again, suddenly started slamming and banging things very loudly and repeatedly in the bathroom directly behind this wall while I was quietly sitting here in the dark trying to use the facilities. There were no slamming or banging noises at any point throughout this morning or early afternoon. I know I've been sitting at my table, sending emails and making phone calls for the last few hours, and there has been absolutely no signs of anybody in Unit 78, especially not in this bathroom, at all throughout the day today. There were slamming and banging noises, weirdly enough, at 3:30 this past night when I quietly tried to use the facilities in this bathroom, and also at 3:30 the night before that, which I made a video about and left a voicemail for the Greenville Group regarding. 3:30 a.m. 2 nights ago, 3:30 a.m. this past night, somebody was in the bathroom of 78 slamming and banging things around directly behind the wall of this toilet when I was quietly sitting on the toilet, minding my own business with the lights off and the door closed. The slamming and banging only happens when I happen to be trying to use the facilities in this bathroom, and that just happened 10 or 15 minutes ago at 1:45 or 1:40 p.m. on a Tuesday, when if the Greenville Group is, doing what they're saying they're doing, which is renting to a legitimate occupied tenant in Unit 78, then that person would most likely not be smacking and slamming things around behind this wall. The kicker that it is probably the same psychopath and sex offender pig that they've been choosing to house in 78 on and off for the last 11 years is that there was also some marijuana smoke coming from behind this wall. And when I was using my rape whistle to try to create some noise privacy for myself while I was sitting here, that same person or somebody associated with them started using a directed energy weapon that they themselves have admitted to using in multiple written comments on my social media pages. Directed energy weapons are a thing. It's not science fiction. It's not something that, is only in James Bond movies. It's actually used pretty commonly by law enforcement departments all over this country. Why in the world law enforcement in Boston would provide a psychopath like Jasmine Irizarry with a directed energy weapon, I don't know. But she has bragged herself in multiple comments on my social media pages that she is using a directed energy weapon, that she's aiming it at my head. Although when I was sitting here on the toilet 10 minutes ago, it was not being used on my head. It was being used on my neck and my chest. You can feel it. It literally feels like you're being like electrocuted. I mean, that's the only sensation I can compare it to. It literally feels like you have an electric current suddenly running through you, where 2 seconds ago there was nothing. And she has bragged that she's getting paid $300,000 to use a directed energy weapon to electronically assault me. Oleg Eliseyev, her handler here at the Greenville Group, the crooked criminal Russian slumlord and property manager, who the city of Boston have taken to court 5 times now over the last 4 years for criminal negligence in this unit, for failing to comply with the housing code on a criminal level multiple times over the last few years. So therefore, I have the right to call him a criminal because that's what he is. He's a criminal, negligent slumlord, according to the city of Boston, and the multiple criminal lawsuits they have brought against him for failing to make repairs in my unit over the last few years. Well, he has bragged about Jasmine Irizarry being the Greenville Group's surveillance expert and being so talented, according to him, she can hack into anything. She can get into anything. Mr. Eliseyev's exact words about Jasmine Irizarry have also been, quote, she can take care of any problem, and she herself has used those exact words when responding to videos that I've made about her, claiming that she is getting paid to, quote, take care of problems. So when I'm quietly sitting on my toilet at 1:45 in the afternoon on a Tuesday, and some psycho is slamming and banging things against the wall directly behind my toilet, out of the blue, at that exact moment, when there were no slamming or banging noises at any point in the few hours before that moment, and no slamming or banging noises at any point after that moment, then you can bet that Oleg Eliseyev and Jasmine Irizarry are doing exactly what they keep bragging that they're doing, which is using surveillance devices in my bathroom to harass the shit out of me, pun intended, when I try to use the facilities in this bathroom. It's a disgusting, sick and twisted situation, and I'm not the one who is coming up with this. I've lived in this unit for 13 years. And the first few years, there were no issues. All of a sudden, when Jasmine Irizarry was placed in the bathroom behind this wall by Mr. Eliseyev, again, a criminal slumlord from Russia or the Russian-Ukrainian border, but whatever, that's like splitting hairs. It's like saying that somebody is from upstate New York and it's kind of like on the Canadian border, so they're Canadian but American, whatever, same thing. Then they are engaging in unlawful surveillance, criminal harassment, intimidation, violence, and physical assault by using a directed energy weapon that they themselves have bragged about using and claim that they're getting paid a lot of money to use. Who's paying them? Is it the Greenville Group? Is it the Russian mafia that 6 people have told me Mr. Eliseyev is part of? 6 separate individuals have come up to me over the last few years in housing court, at the printing center near the housing court, at a Russian community social event, at a cafe, actually, outside of the housing court, and told me that my landlords are Russian mafia. Or is it the BLM activists that they sponsor in large numbers and cram in this building complex? It's almost entirely all African-American BLM sex offenders, and they're sex offenders. Look it up. Let's see, Charles Thomas, Christopher Thomas, Jason DaCosta, and Mark Collins, Michael Collins, Wenner Rodriguez, Edward Hurtado. They're all either sex offenders or violent criminals that have a criminal record a mile long. They claim to be BLM activists, and they've been coming at me constantly for, 8 years now? I don't know how many physical assault. It's Irizarry on the... Wow, that is Irizarry, the fat, stinking, smoking pig. She's smoking directly behind that wall, because while I'm standing here listing her friends, apparently at BLM, making a list of their names in this video, I've just gotten blasted by a wall, literally a blast of smoke coming from directly behind this wall. That is the unique behavioral thumbprint of the sex offender and psychopath Jasmine Irizarry that the Greenville Group have been permitting to access the vacant premises of the bathroom of 78 behind this wall for 11 years now. Nobody else is able to suddenly, deliberately propagate intense and sickening amounts of smoke and fumes into this bathroom within a few seconds when I'm doing something that she doesn't like, that suddenly causes her to get all triggered and psychotic and start like getting jiggy with her smoking device. I don't know if she's vaping or smoking or burning or whatever it is, using a fan. But all of a sudden, this entire corner right here has got marijuana smoke pouring from that wall. So I'm correct. So for the record, 5 minutes ago, I left a voicemail for the Greenville Group indicating to them that I am unable to safely and privately use the facilities in this bathroom because of their permitted use. They are permitting the use of surveillance devices in this bathroom that I don't know how many dozen people in this building have bragged to me that they get to see what I do in here, and that the Greenville Group have admitted to using, telling me that the police are allowing it. And if I have a problem with it, I should go talk to the police. They've admitted to using surveillance devices in this bathroom. Therefore, I shouldn't have to pay rent because I cannot privately use this bathroom for any purpose and at any moment without getting aggressively harassed by some psycho who fills this corner with marijuana smoke, even right now when I'm standing here talking about them. And then they slam and bang things against the wall behind this toilet only at the moment that I'm sitting on that toilet, not at any point before, not at any point after. And then the Greenville Group claim that I am, 5 minutes short on the rent? I don't owe rent at all because this is not a living space, you pathetic lowlifes. It's a public forum, morons. So again, I just left them a voicemail 5 minutes ago telling them that they are failing to provide a safe, private, and functional living space. And it prevents me on an hourly basis from using the facilities in this bathroom, from being able to safely and privately shower in my shower stall, from being able to safely and privately lie on my bed and pick my nose if I want, without the psycho in 76 suddenly slamming something against the wall directly beneath my bed. I don't know if they're using a broomstick to hit the ceiling of their unit, but that happened yesterday morning when I was lying on my bed and the fire alarm was going off in the building. And that psycho in 76, I suspect it's Irizarry, who moves between 78 and 76. I mean, it's a pretty short distance. You don't have to go very far to go from 76 below to 78 right behind here. It's a short flight of stairs, 1 floor up. She was violently, repeatedly slamming something heavy underneath my bed yesterday morning while I was lying there sleeping, and the fire alarm in the building was going off, and it went off for a very long time.
apparently Irizarry pulls fire alarms. She did that at my workplace 6 months ago, and the store management told me they had a female on video illegally accessing restricted parts of that retail establishment, and they know who pulled the fire alarm, and it was a female who they've seen accessing illegal areas of that store. I suspect that's Irizarry. She's a paid, quote, BLM activists. So BLM doesn't just sit around in the bathroom of 78 all day, especially if I'm not here. If I'm at work, they go to my work and then they engage in harassment there. So when the fire alarm was going off yesterday throughout this building, Irizarry was slamming something directly below my bed because she probably is the one who pulled the fire alarm and was doing it to try to get me up and out of my bed when I was lying there comfortably sleeping. And then when I didn't move, she became really violent and agitated directly below my bed, and herself was obviously not leaving the building, even though the fire alarm had been going off for 15 minutes at that point. If she wasn't the one who pulled the fire alarm, she might have been concerned about the fact that maybe there was a fire in the building. Really? She's the one who pulled the fire alarm because she was still in her unit 15 minutes into that fire alarm going off, and she was slamming something repeatedly below my bed. If she's not the one who pulled the fire alarm, then she would have had some logical concerns about the possibility of a fire in this building, and she would have left Unit 76. But the person who pulled the fire alarm yesterday is in 76 and was in 76 because they continued to slam and bang things directly below my bed while the fire alarm was going off, 15 or 20 minutes into the fire alarm going off, which means they had no concerns about the possibility of a fire in the building because they knew there was no fire in the building because they're the ones who pulled the fire alarm. And that's why they did not leave Unit 76 at any point yesterday while the fire alarm was going off for 22 minutes, at least 22 minutes. So there you go. Same piece of shit. And right now she's literally just filling this entire area right here with billowing smoke of marijuana and cigars. The same exact stench that she's been blowing, burning, and propagating from behind this wall for 11 years. It's the same sick and twisted, hate-stalking, paid reject Irizarry, the fat, stinking sex offender, pedophile, level 3 registered rapist that the Greenville Group keep praising in multiple verbal comments to me when I've brought her activities to their attention, and they admitted that that is what she's doing.